There goes Sobo. Sobo.
Your phone, Zach, or your computer?
I'm on my phone.
Sobo.
Oh, okay.
Yo.
Hey, Sobo.
Hey,
What's happening?
you know.
Are you eating
Going
dinner? You eating dinner? What you doing? Eating dinner?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Trying to get it in before we get on.
I understand. Because it'd be it'd be a long time before you eat.
Zach.
Sobo.
Zach.
What's going on?
So me, you, Mickey, Bob, 40 ounces of private stock. Now,
Oh yeah. I knew it'd come to you sooner or later.
Now hold on. How I'm supposed? You was the rod iron rail then, bro. Now you around here like Hulk Hogan's bodyguard. I'm like, hold on. This is not the same dude.
Ah, man, just put on a little weight. That's all. Yeah, I knew it'd come to you sooner or later.
Oh yeah, you my homeboy. We used to, yeah.
I know. What they say, you dig?
Hey, Zach, I told him the same thing. I still remember Sobo as a smart mouth, little skinny, tall dude. Then I came back, he was, he Hulk Hogan, 300 some pounds. Like he ready to body slam the world.
300 something pounds.
Sobo,
Yo.
I just want you to know, my brother, I have perfected my version of my jerk. Where's my phone? It's in my pocket.
You did what?
I have perfected my version of my jerk chicken.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, I used to throw down on it back in the days. It's a different jerk. Got it went a whole different direction with it.
Wow. Right now.
I let it brine. I let it brine for a whole day. For 24 hours. Then after it brine, I seasoned the brine up real good, all the different herbs and spices. What's up, Berlin?
Hey, hello, everybody. Hey, Onion. Hey, Will.
Hey. How you doing?
Hey.
How you doing?
Hey, Sobo.
Hey, Berlin. I'm trying to eat dinner before we go on. I'm trying to be professional.
I see Mr. Kaz is back. All right.
Hey, how you doing, sweetheart? How you doing?
Berlin, we're going to get your cousin on here.
Which one?
The one that love letters to a Virgo.
Oh, Tim. Yeah. You know, when he was on a couple of times with me when I was on early on last year.
Oh, last year, okay.
Smart. You might even be wise.
What he thought about it?
The issue we have is you're on the wrong team.
I'm sorry, you said what?
I said, what do you think about the show?
Oh, he loves it. He just works. You know, he works in the mill, so a lot of times when we're on,
yeah, I understand that.
And I know that he was with Eddie Aragon.
That meal ain't no joke, boy.
It doesn't matter. Where's Eddie? I need to see Eddie Aragon.
Y'all worked out there for a minute.
Face to face. Whether he was with my boy last
night. Worked out there 6 months. I was so glad that I got laid off. I didn't know what to do.
Turn that TV down.
Hey, when I was out there, man, a couple people died when I was out there, man.
Wow.
Yep.
It can be dangerous in some of the departments.
Hey, they say, hey, we gotta lay you off, man. They say you're a good worker, but the downside. I said, I ain't got no problem with that. I'm going back to House Authority anyway.
All right.
I know that's right. Sobo, you ready, man?
Yeah, hold on.
Not a kilo of chop.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm ready.
That's a
Hey, what's up, Tina? How you doing?
Hey, you already logged in Facebook and Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Jermaine, what's up, man? Yeah, hey, you ready, Sobo?
Yeah, hold on, Elder.
We was up here jaw jacking, y'all, getting ready, man, for my man Sobo. And we just up here shooting the breeze with our lovely people, man, you know, before we get started.
All right, let's roll.
That's
All right, let's go. Good evening, everybody. It's your man, Elder Eli L. I want to welcome y'all to another exciting episode of On Code. And this is my co-host.
What's happening, everybody? I'm Sobo, 11th Avenue Hobo. Hobo is the acronym standing for having overcome barriers and obstacles. Y'all see me.
What's up, y'all? And we got on deck today. We got, of course, you know what I'm saying, our panel, two of our longest standing members. We got Cool Onion from the Mighty West Side class of 1972. What's up, Cool Onion?
What's up? Pause up.
Pause up. And we got my home girl, the Ministress of Information, the one and only Verlene from the Mighty West Side class of 1987. What's up, Verlene?
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Cougars in the house.
Cougars in the house.
Cougars in the house. And tonight, y'all, we got another special guest. He's a veteran of our show. He checks us out all the time. He come in and kick it with us, you feel me? And he's also the proprietor of another podcast called Sin City. He's also the author of many books. And he's also one of the people that put not only Gary, Indiana, but Indianapolis on the map as his movie called Sin City, the movie. He's also the proprietor and the originator and put Avenue Projects on the map through his comics, through his cartoons on Amazon Prime. You know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to give a warm welcome to my brother, the one and only Zach Scott.
All right.
Thank you, my brother.
What's up, my brother?
Man,
Sobo said he also something. What is he, Sobo?
He used to be my drinking partner.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
That's most definitely.
Man,
and I want to send a shout out to everybody that's on Facebook and Zoom watching us. I appreciate y'all. Continue to tap in. But tonight, you know, we got, like I said, we got my man Zach on here, right? But tonight, last week, we talked about everything he did in the past, and we talked about a project that was coming up. Well, that project is done now, y'all. And he's finally done this masterpiece, and I can't wait to read it. You know, but we're going to, let my man talk about his book and give us a detailed instruction. I mean, not instructions, but give us not even a little detail, but just break it down what his book is all about. And with further ado, here's my man, Zach Scott.
All right. I appreciate you, man. Like I said, man, I got this new book out. Hey, check it out. It's called Cash Chronicle Presents His Story is My History. Check it out, man. This right here, to give you a quick synopsis of it, pretty much about a young man trying to navigate his way through life, being lured in by his father, who whole mind frame was street orientated. I mean, everything that his father did, it was street orientated. I mean, his father just lived a code. You know what I'm saying? And he tried to influence him to live by that same code. But at some point in time, I had to learn, all right, that, what am I going to do? Am I going to be in his shadow and try to be the man he want me to be my own man? So that's where the battle came in at. So, and throughout my life, it was just when I say it was a struggle, dog, it was a struggle beyond, it was like, what do you obey? Do you love and obey your father? Who, I mean, morally, he doing some he doing some messed up things in life, but he's your father and you love him. Or do you take your own road? So at the end of the day, man, it was just like I had to decide which way I wanted to go. Did I want to be in his shoes, follow up behind him, or did I want to take the path to be my own man? I chose the path to be my own man, but this right here tell you, hey, it was a total struggle to be it, man. It was a total struggle to be my own man, trying to follow up behind this guy. And I mean, when I tell you that this dude did some things, some dastardly things, man, it was hard, man.
Yeah.
But
I
you
can imagine,
overcame.
man.
Yeah, you overcame it. God is good. You overcame.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You made the right choice. You chose your own path. We came
Willie,
in this world by ourselves.
Willie did the same thing. Willie did too. That's proud of both of y'all. That's awesome. You know, so
Yeah.
You know what,
probably
Zach? Go, I'm sorry, let's see what you say.
not that Willie did the same, went through the same thing and overcame it, and I don't know a lot about Sobo, but I imagine he did too. Proud of
I
you.
didn't do nothing. I was a mild child.
Oh, you was a
Listen,
man child, so you ain't with the
Hold on a minute. But he just said they were drinking partners. He just said they were drinking partners.
we were drinking milk. Listen,
That's all right, Sobo. I was just gonna recognize you if you had been on the same path, but that's all right. You was a good.
I wasn't on that path.
Okay, well that's. I'm glad.
And you know what, Zach? Not giving up too much of the story, fam, or too much of the book, because you know, I'm sure it's a wonderful read. Because, like I said, man, you know, everything you write that I've seen so far been a good story, man. Been a good read. You know what I'm saying? Your imagination and your penmanship is top tier. You know what I'm saying? So
Man, I
I can only
appreciate that.
I can't wait to get my hands on this book to read it. And Amazon ban is about to be over with tomorrow, y'all. So
Okay.
the Amazon ban is gonna be over tomorrow. So if you don't live in the city of Indianapolis and you can't get to them, I don't know if he'll mail the book out to you or not, but you can go on Amazon and get the book as well.
Definitely,
You know,
definitely go to Amazon Prime. Hey, like I said, the book is called His Story is My History. Zachary Scott, the author. I mean, you definitely get it. I mean, you get paperback, you can get the hard copy, and as of right now, I'm in the midst of doing the audio right now. So hopefully by next week, the audio will be out. So the people who just like to put their earphones on and just, you can just listen to it. I'm narrating it. I'm doing everything myself. So, hey, I mean, actually, you can actually hear. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Chill. I really put my heart and soul into this book. You know, it was a
yeah.
lot of things for a long time I was ashamed to say or I was ashamed of because I'm like, man, how will people take me because of the things that my father does?
Right.
And, I was ashamed. I was ashamed. And I'm like, his truth ain't my truth.
Right,
You
right.
know, his
Right.
life ain't my life. So, I had to just, and a lot of that stuff, man, I carried with me. My father been dead for over almost 30 years. So, and it was like, for that long, man, I carried that. I carried that with me, man. It was just like, it was so many answers, so many questions I had that, I didn't have no answers to.
Right.
Like,
Right.
oh, why would you do this? Why did hell, I even wondered, why did you treat me the way you treated me?
You know, DNA is real, fam. You know, DNA is real. And people don't realize that, you know, on a spiritual level, your mom's spirit and your father's spirit mingle to make you. You a combination of both their spirits.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? And you know what the words say, the sins of the father, so but we don't have to follow the same footsteps as the sin of the father, but it's a daily struggle mentally.
There you go.
You will see something, and the other side of your mind will tell you like, you can act on it like this. You feel
Chill.
me?
So
But
many
you fight
times.
daily.
So many times. It's like I've told my kids, it's easier for me to act like him than it is to be myself because, I know that part of him is in me. And it's like through prayer help and a lot of patience that I was able to just subdue that side of me and just say, you know what, I got that side of me gotta go.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like, man, but hey, for a long time I thought I had to mimic him, man. I thought I had to look up to him. I thought I had to, you know, like, I mean, not to give any other book away, but he did go to prison. So when he went to prison, I felt like I had to uphold his name. I'm his namesake. And I'm a junior. I'm a junior. So I really felt like, okay, while he down, I got to uphold his name. You know, because that's how he taught me. You know, I mean, I would think for the phrase, what song was it? It was Thug Life. That's the way Daddy raised me, crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and that was my mentality. Like, okay, I gotta do this.
And you know, man, and unfortunately, man, that be the downfall of not just black men, but a lot of men, period, trying to live in the footsteps of their fathers, and their fathers not allowing their sons to grow into the men that they can be.
Exactly.
Especially if the fathers aren't living a conducive a life that's worth a serviceful life. You know what I'm saying? They always are takers. What'd you say,
Right.
Sobo?
No, I thought you meant present, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But yeah, man. So I get that, fam. I get it, man. Because no, it's rough, man. And, you know, like you were just saying, we as men, we try to emulate our fathers, and then if our father's not around, we try to emulate the people we see on the streets, or the people that's the next dude we think is the coolest dude on the block, or
Exactly.
you know.
And
And
then
that's why it's important, man. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I mean, then in my mind, I was like, okay, you know, yeah, you know right from wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but when your father letting you do the wrong, who could tell you to do something right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, is pretty much two people in this world that you feel like, okay, the only two people in this world that can tell me what I can and can't do. That's my mother and my father. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now I got my father sitting there telling me, "Hey man, dude." Man, I mean, I was 16, man, 16 years old, and he looked me in my eyes. We riding, drinking. We drinking like a motherfucker. I mean, I'm sorry, we drinking, and he looked over there at me, man, and said, "Well, I ain't got no grandbabies yet, dude. I'm 16." Now, just the fact that I was more scared of my mother than him. My mother said, "If you bring, I wish you would bring a baby up in here." So I was more scared of her than him because it's like, dude, like you really want me to have a baby at 16? Like, you know, she could never go to him and say, "Well, he acting a fool in school," because his whole thing was, "What the fuck you?" I mean, I'm sorry, I'm in the cuss, but what you going to school for anyway? You need to be out here hustling. You need to be making this money. You can't do nothing up in there. You can't get no money in there. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just giving y'all an inkling of the mentality he had, and it was pushing it up on me.
Yep, that's probably normal.
But then it's like, okay, well, this is my dad telling me this. So can't no uncle or cousin or next door neighbor say, "Well, Zach, you don't math? F you, man. My daddy said I ain't got to do that." You know, I mean, this is the mentality I was having. And then you got to think, you growing up out there in the projects and shit. I mean, you know, I mean, I ain't got to tell none of y'all. Y'all know it. Hey, we loved each other, but hey, it was rough out there at times too. You know, going to school and Concord and Ivanhoe fighting, Ivanhoe and the Bronx fighting is like, hey, you know, you have to survive the best way you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
That, bro, I commend you on telling your story, man, because a lot of people are afraid to expose themselves like that, you
True.
know. And for you to go back and say, because I know you said earlier, you know, it took you a while to come in, this conversation me and you had, it took you a while to come to grips with even telling the story. And some people even in the family, like, why would you want to tell that? You know what I'm saying?
Man,
So what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there? Was it therapeutic for you, or was it just,
that
what
was
was your
just
thought process?
you hit the perfect word. It was therapeutic, dog. It was I had to get it out of me. And it was just like
Mm-hmm.
so heavy on my heart. And dude, I got treated I got treated bad by certain people in my family on his side of my family because you know they okay, he just like his daddy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it was like I wasn't showing them no different. You know, so and it was just like man, all that rage and anger and confusion was all balled up in me. And like I said, take in mind, it's been balled up in me for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, man, I gotta get this out of me. You know? And granted, oh man, I've heard, I've heard family members, oh, how's he writing that book? Why did he write that book? He shouldn't have wrote that book. This, that, and other. Well, and then you got other people saying, well, he's trying to glorify his father. He's trying to glorify. I'm not trying to glorify this man. I mean, but then my whole thing is before you judge me, or you say anything about me, read the book.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the book, you would know that like okay, I'm not glorifying anything. I'm just telling my truth. A lot of people say, well, if you're gonna tell the truth, say this, say that, say this, say that. That ain't my story. My story
Right.
ain't to say that because that wasn't about me and him. That was
Right,
about him and whoever. That's
right.
their story to tell, not mine. All I could do is
Mm-hmm.
tell my story,
Your truth, right.
and that's what I did.
Go ahead, Sobo.
Zach, first of all, I'm proud of you. I can't I can't get my hands on the book fast enough either.
Thank you, brother.
My question is, now this is book number what for you?
2,
Okay.
book number 2.
Book number 2. Do you now I know you went to West Side and all of that, but do you follow template when you're writing a book?
I try to. I try to. I mean, I get the basis of everything that you need to do, what you need to start at, and all that. But once you get the writing, man, when your heart get to going,
It
dude,
just
you just
goes,
go. You
right?
just go. Now after it's done, it's like, ooh, I got to take this out. I got to put this here. I got to put this there. But
Mm-hmm.
my first thing I do is, like I say, I just let my heart go. I let my
Mm-hmm.
heart go, and I just let my hand move.
Okay. Okay. Because a lot of people, I thought about writing a book, but I realized that I probably didn't have the patience at the time, so I wouldn't. I was looking for template, and stuff like that. And I actually got a college writer's textbook that I haven't read yet, but I got it in case I want to write a book.
Hey, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
dog. Once you start, like I said, man, you sit down, and once you just open your mind and just let it go, man. Before you know it, you like, wait a minute, I got to take some of this stuff out. I didn't wrote too much,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and because
Yeah.
it's like you can't get it all in there.
About how to write a book.
Yeah.
Well,
And you know
and
what? You know what, Zach? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sobo. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying that, and thank God that it's a lot of Black people, even people from Gary, that's come before you that has successfully published manuscripts and stuff like that.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's a lane that, you know what I mean, that we do pretty good in. So, you know, I'm thinking your book gonna be just as successful as any of those books that came before it. You know what I mean? Because as
man.
long as it's your truth. Somebody's
Man.
gonna find it the most interesting thing in the world.
Right. I say,
No,
man, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say, man, that's all I am. That's all I can do is just tell my truth.
Mm-hmm. You know, man, my first published work was a book I wrote about my grandmother in the civil rights movement. And it started as a project at Ivy Tech when I was in school in my humanities class. And our professor was like, everybody that you know, he said, everybody in here have a historical story to tell from their life, from their perspective. Like you just said, this is my perspective. This is the way
Right.
I saw the way it was presented to me. And he said, I want y'all to write a story about somebody in y'all family who was famous, regardless of how it was famous, either famous or infamous. You know what I'm saying? But everybody have that famous person in their family. You just don't see him as famous because or infamous because you lived with him and grew up with him, and you just looked at him like this is just my family member, you know. And so I wrote the story about my grandmama, her marching the civil rights movement, and you know I had to rely on the memory that I had from her telling me stuff back in the days and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then I had to go to my aunties and my mama and them and ask them questions, like, "Hey, what happened during this time period?" I had the historical facts, but a lot of the the little nuances I didn't really have, so I had to rely on my grandma, my aunties, them. I almost remember the auntie. And I was asking y'all questions about what was how was y'all life like when grandma was going off marching in Washington and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But when you do that type of stuff, like you were saying, Zach, it does take control of you. It just when you start writing, it get to a point that you can only write, you'll start pouring out everything. And within my manner, we can only write like I think like 180 words or 200 words, something like that. It was very short stories that we could put,
Right.
that we can only write down. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, you had to take stuff out the books and had to minimize it and say, no, I can't talk about that. What made you say what you could keep or couldn't keep?
Actually, like I went to a lot of people. Like I talked to my uncles and aunties and people that was close to him and things of that nature. So and I'll keep it real with you, man. I heard a lot of disturbing things, and the disturbing things that I heard, I would actually look at that person and act like, the situation really bothers you. Yeah. Well, you know what? Nah. I could, like I said, once again, it's me looking at it through my eyes.
Yeah.
So, like I said, once again, it was like that's not my story really to even tell. So it was just like, and then it was a lot of things that it's like you kind of want to protect people at the same time. I know a lot of people like, well,
yeah,
you said this, but didn't say that. I mean, some things not worth saying. And some things was.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the day, the book, like I said, man, the book I'm not trying to hurt nobody. I don't want to hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? But I had to tell the truth on certain things.
Yes,
and
sir.
certain things were just like, like I said, certain things that just wasn't my concern and wasn't my business. I had to let it go.
And you know what? And with that being said, that was a cue that I had to take with my writing. It was like, that's not my story to tell. So I'm not gonna, even though they are part of my story, but if I incorporate that, what old wounds am I gonna open up?
Exactly.
What scars am I gonna, pull the scab back on?
Exactly.
And do I want to be the recipient of that? Because when people fail to realize when you write these stories and books, and even a lot of these podcasts, a lot of people doing these healing moments and helping moments and want people to bring their traumas out. They have them expose all these traumas, but then they don't have nothing for them after the fact. Now this person got these wounds open.
Right.
You know, now they can go back out into the world with these open wounds that they didn't closed up. And
Right.
you go about your
help
business.
them now?
Exactly. What help you got for them now? So what good was it really? Was it just for a money grab? Or is it really just, okay, like I was asking earlier, this therapeutic for you? So this was the story you had to get out.
I done heard it all, man. I done heard all. He done did this for the money. He did this for, you know, what if I even heard like, okay, what if he get rich? If he get rich, we ain't gonna see none of the money. Like, hey, man, hey, I done heard it all. The dog, the book just got released last week. And in the course of a week, I done heard everything, man. I'm everything. I'm, you know, I'm everything up under the sun. You know what I'm saying?
But you know your truth, so
exactly.
God knows your truth, and you know your truth, so that's all that matters.
And I've come to the conclusion, like they said, if they ain't hating, you ain't doing it right.
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate.
If you ain't under attack, then you doing exactly what they want you to do.
Right.
Haters gonna hate, right? That's all.
Exactly.
Haters gonna hate.
I have my cousin on the phone now. He just called in, so he's going to come on once he gets back from Vegas.
Okay, cool. Tell him I say I appreciate it. That we'd love to hear him sit down and talk about his love letters to a Virgo.
And the Woman Inc.
Oh, the Woman's Inc. Okay, I got to get that one. I don't got that. I got to get that book too.
Love letters to a Virgo. You know I'm a Virgo, so hey, you know I gotta get that. I'm a Virgo, so I gotta get that.
You know, half my family Virgo.
And that doesn't interest me at all.
Hey, how y'all doing?
What's up, fam?
What's up? Hey,
you got it, man.
I'm looking forward to, man. I appreciate the invite. I really do. Thank y'all.
Oh, man, no problem, man. We appreciate you, brother. We can't wait to have you, man.
Absolutely. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. But before you come on, I'm going to make sure I read it. I got the book already. I'm going to make sure I read it.
Yeah, you know, that book was a plus. It was pluses and minuses to it. Because the relationship I'm in now, the book was so damn erotic, so damn good about me and this co-worker during the pandemic and how I seduced her, that the one I'm with now, it drives her crazy. I mean, literally, she hates a woman she don't know because of this book. You know, that's how wild it is.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm about to go up there and read it then.
That's that Virgo love, baby. That's that Virgo love.
Yeah. It pushed me to my limits seducing that woman. It really did.
Okay.
She was so fat, I didn't think I could get next to her. But during the pandemic, we worked so much together. I was able to get to know her better. I was single at the time. So it's like, yeah, I just poured my heart into it. And she responded accordingly.
And then comes book 2.
Yeah. Now,
well, bro,
this
is my man Zach right here. This is my man Zach. He an author as well from the crib. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we try to do this whole month. We trying to talk to most of the authors that we can talk to in the city of Gary. So we all can, you know, let everybody know that Gary has some hella fast penmanship.
Yeah, because I have a lot of books.
Stories.
Yeah, I have books. We have classmates that have David Henderson has one. Of course, Cynthia Carter Spencer. Who else has one? We have,
you know, Eugene got the short story about him finding out about his father.
Yeah,
that went to a made a film off of it.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
So
we have
Gary
a lot
is
of talent.
full of talent.
A lot of
Gary
talent
is full
coming
of
out of
talent.
West Side. I tell you, West Side is
Cougars.
Okay.
Cougars.
Now the author that's on the now, his name is Zach.
Hold on.
His name is Zachary Scott. He's want to know who Zach is.
Oh,
Zachary Scott.
Go ahead, tell me about yourself, Zach.
Hey man, how you doing, man? My name's Zachary Scott. I'm a This is my second book that I got published out now. My first one is Unbreakable. That's a wild erotic story in itself also. But this one here is called His Story is My History.
Okay. So Unbreakable and His Story.
His Story is My History.
His story is my history.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Now, where can I find your book at? Where can I find your book?
Oh, it's on Amazon. Both of them on Amazon.
Oh, okay. Well, I got it. I'm finna go look for it now. Well, as soon as the show over,
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting the copy.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting a copy of yours too, man, and see what you got. Read your stuff, yeah.
All right
So
now.
Unbreakable is about what now? What's that about?
Now, Unbreakable is about we go back to 1942, the year that Ivanhoe Projects was built, and it's about this couple that in a world where, you know, the whole segregation thing was still, you know, what it was. They were some wild people, dog. They were some wild people, and they didn't play. And they meet the mayor's wife, and
Don't tell the whole story.
I'm just gonna get. I'm gonna leave it at that. They meet the mayor's wife, and it takes off from there.
And you know, hey, remember the movie that Snoop Dogg was in, right? When he came back and he was like, I got, you know, was like a ghost story, a gangster ghost story.
No.
Man, I know what movie you're talking about.
That's what this is like. When I read his book, that's what that's like. It's not just a straight up gangster
definitely
story.
have a twist. It definitely have a twist.
Yes, it's got a twist. I'm waiting for part 2. You know what I'm
Part
saying?
2
We
on
gotta
its
get
way.
that part 2 out there.
Part 2's on its way.
Zach, I want to ask you a question, Zach. How hard was it? How hard was it to, you know, like Sobo was asking earlier, like, how you just let it flow, whatever. How hard was it to come up with, you know, the different concepts for the different chapters to try to take it from A to B? All right, Sobo.
I was more like, what's the first words that you actually write that you say, I'm gonna use? Because to me, how do you pick the first words in a book? You know what I mean? It's like, it seems like those are the hardest words probably to put down in my mind. You know what I mean?
To me. It was to me.
To me, you know, the first word to come to my mind is when I say, okay, this is what I want to write about. But when I first write about it, I don't write anything for days. I just sit there and I think. I just let the whole situation flow through my head. And it's like, okay, I got it. And it's like the first thing I want you to do is know the situation. Like with Unbreakable, the whole situation you do right off the gate. Okay. The character's name is Sylvester. Right out the gate, you knew, okay, Sylvester this dude's a character. This dude is a character. Now, and this one about my dad, I mean, it's like I picked this one day. Well, this day actually changed my whole course of life. It just changed my whole life. I was 6 years old, and it changed the way I thought about everything in the world. And it was just like, I just started. How did that day start to me? And I just went from there.
But I just, I mean, I haven't never written a book, but I would just think that you put stuff on paper, and then you decide what you're going to put in the beginning. I mean, you move stuff around. That's what
it happens like that too, because I I wrote a chapter and I'm like, hey, ooh, I need to write this other chapter because this chapter will, if I write this, then I got to include that. So now I got to go and say, well, this chapter, okay, let me. You're absolutely right. You do got to switch them around sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's just like at that moment you just write what you feel.
People in the first 2 paragraphs of a book, I would imagine. I don't think I want to read a book where they hit me real hard at the beginning. I'm like, oh shoot, I ain't read no more. You know.
Well, see now with that.
Well, Auntie, but that's how Auntie.
It depends on the type of book and the content of the book, what you're writing about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I had one person tell me, one person who read this, his story is my history. He said, dude, I can't get past the first chapter. So
Yeah.
what you mean? He said, I had to read the first chapter all over again. He was like, the first chapter was so explosive. I had to read it again. He's
Right.
like, dude, he's like, I'm hooked. You know,
And
and
y'all,
I've had
when
people
y'all
call
hear
me.
his audio, oh my God.
Oh yeah,
When,
like I say, the
when
audio
y'all
coming.
say your audio, was that the first chapter?
Yeah, that's the first. That's the pre-game. That's the
Now, his
first thing.
his preview of that first chapter was so, like I told him earlier, before we got online, I said, man, your voice is so captivating when you're reading. I said, I could just sit here and listen to you and let you read to me. You feel me? And the storyline which he was reading, I ain't gonna lie to you. I haven't read the book yet, but I've read other books and I've seen his stories and everything, and I've watched his movies. But when he was just doing that audio book, I posted the audio book on my Facebook page too. His first part of his audio book, I posted on my Facebook page.
I'm gonna definitely check.
Y'all go check that out.
Okay.
And just hearing his
Right.
inflections of his
You still
voice
on?
and seeing him bring the story down, it brings you into the story.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm that type of person. That's the type of book I want to read, because I read comic books. I read all these different mythology books. I read all these different other books. And I want the writer to captivate me from the very beginning and keep me on the roller coaster. You feel me? And that's
Right.
what Zach books do. They snatch you in and just keep you going. You feel me? That's how it is for me. I can't speak for everybody else.
Right.
But that's how it is for me when I read his work. You know what I'm saying?
I'm still in all that he actually served in all 4 branches of the military.
That's not Dookie, Auntie. That's not Dookie.
That's
No.
not Dookie.
Oh yeah, okay. See, look here, I'm 71. Y'all excuse me.
No, that's Zach from Ivanhoe. That's AC Butler's stepson.
Well, who is right here? This one is.
Yes,
Yes.
AC Butler's stepson.
Who is that said he was in 4 branches of service?
That was my boy Dookie.
Oh, Duke. Okay. I'm still thinking about that in my head. That still tripped me out. But all right. No.
So yeah, bro. With that being said, man, did you have your outline written first before you started, or you just went off your head?
Nah, just went. just went, dog. Like I said, like Ovo said earlier, is like the template is right there. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna go right here. But then like I said, when that pen start hitting, and you just like
flows.
I gotta go.
Flow.
Just go. It's just like go. And it's like I put all this together later. But right now, this in my mind and it's fresh in my mind. And dude, it's like I think what I got is a gift and a curse is that I don't forget a lot of things. You know, a lot of people, like, I got a sister that's 6 months younger than me. Now I can ask her, like, hey, do you remember this happening? Do you remember that? She like, I don't remember none of that.
Right.
And I'm like, how you not remember that? You was right there standing next to me. How you not remember this? How you not remember what the old man did?
I wouldn't say it's a curse. Just keep it as a gift. You know, words are powerful. It's a gift, because if you didn't have that gift, you wouldn't have it to share, to write.
Yeah, because I don't remember. My daughter, my youngest daughter, she remember when she was 2, and I get tired of her bringing up stuff about what happened. So, I don't remember. You don't remember? No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's what makes it your story.
That's right.
But not,
it's definitely a gift that you can recall.
You ain't kidding.
Memories from the past.
But sometimes, man, sometimes I wish I was her. And when I say the curse, is because some of that stuff I would have loved to forget.
Right.
Like, man, I wish I could forget this stuff. And it's like, I'm talking about to the point where it'll randomly. And to piggyback on what Chill asked me earlier, man, that stuff used to like some of the stuff that I wrote in here would just randomly pop up in my head. I could be laying there watching TV, you know, not even the whole situation. I could be watching Batman, you know what I'm saying? And this random thing just pops in my head,
It's in
and
the
I
book
see
now?
I'm sorry, what you say?
It's in the book?
Yeah, it's like,
And that was the
yeah,
reason.
some of the stuff, that's why I said I had to just get this out my head. Like, get this out my head and write it down and get it out. Now it's to the point now when I read this book, it's like, I don't even want to read it. Like, honestly, like doing the audio is like, I gotta do this again. I'm tired of thinking about it. I don't even want to think about it no more. But you know, when you work, you gotta work. So, but that's why it was so therapeutic for me, because now it's out my head now. It's like now I don't even, like, the stuff that I wrote in this book, I don't even think about no more. But until I wrote this book, it would just randomly pop in my head. And like I said, I don't want to get a book away, but some of the stuff, and I'm gonna tell you, some of the stuff that randomly, the stuff that's wrote in this book, because it's gonna probably mess you up if you read it. Well, when you read it, it's gonna mess you up. It's gonna make like, wow. But then take in mind that this stuff pops in my head. This stuff been popping in my head since I was 6 years old. So it's like, God, I wish I could just take this out my head. But now it's like, I'm tired of hearing about it.
You know what? Like Willie said, everybody has a story. Life is life, and everybody has a history. Everybody has a story.
That's true.
Therapeutic was the main word that you said. So if everybody wrote what was in their head, Sobo, shaking his head. Sobo shaking his head. No.
I wanted to be a writer too, but I wanted to write songs.
Write your song.
Huh?
Write your song, Sobo.
No, because see, the kind of songs I want to write, you know, the artists that could perform them are no longer here. Whitney, Marvin Gaye, you know, those type of people. I can't write no song for Drake. You know what I mean?
You would be surprised, dog. You'd be surprised some of the average people you'll beat that you'll be like, you know. And I'm gonna tell you another thing that got me to writing is that, and it's funny that you brought that up, dog, because my father was a beautiful writer. He could write. He wrote poetry. He wrote songs. He could actually sing. I wish. I mean, I got his voice, but I don't got the singing part of it. He would sing, man, in 3-part harmony, and I mean, he has stacks of notebooks with songs and poetry and all type of stuff wrote in there. And I'm like, he would just sing these songs, and I'm like, who made that song? And he like, I just did. And I'm like, yeah, right, you didn't make that song, but he did.
Do you have his writings?
I believe that's where I got it from. The love of writing, I believe that came from him, because, like I said, he would sit down.
His actual physical writing.
Oh no, man. He was such a Rolling Stone that you know.
And I know that's why I put that song on there on the reel, based off what me and you talked about. My papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
That's why I put that on the reel. You know, man. But man, but your father gave you something, that creativity spark in you, that allowed you to do all the different things you're doing now. From the movies, the cartoons, the podcasts, the books. None of that stuff would be possible if it wasn't for, your pops. That was a part of your DNA that you inherited from him, even though you had the other side too. But that's the part that stood out the most.
He was a creator. He was the creator. If he sat there and penned anything and created it, that's where you get it from. Yeah. It's the DNA, the creation DNA that you inherited from him.
His legacy.
You just took it further. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, he had it and you have it, and it's creativity and it's priceless. Yeah.
I would hear this dude singing, man, and it's like, damn. Like, I would think it was the radio at times. And he would but he would never do it in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
But he would just, I'm talking about, I mean, he would, and he harmonized it and he get to writing it. Then he'll put some music on and he'll get to sing these songs. And I'm a kid looking at him like, damn, man, my daddy could sing. Like, dude, like you need to focus on this. And if I knew what I had back then, I'd seen these notebooks, but I didn't think nothing about it as a kid, and it was just like I wish, and like a lot of people say, what do you wish you could have got from him? I just wish I could have got those notebooks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what? Verlene just said it earlier that you were his legacy, right? And of course, there's the biblical saying that the sins of the father, whatever, right? Follows the son, the father's the child. But then there's also the saying that the son is always supposed to surpass the father. It's supposed to be greater than the father. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about?
Right.
And where you see him afraid to show his talents because of the lifestyle he was living, because the lifestyle he was living, that would have seemed weak. And he couldn't show
Yeah.
no weakness to the people. I'm just gonna keep it real with you.
Yeah,
He
you're
couldn't
right.
show
You're right.
no weakness, during the 70s and 80s, growing up in Gary, the lifestyle he was living, he couldn't show that weakness to them people. You feel
Yeah.
me? But now look at you. Similar backgrounds, but now that you're older, you are allowed, because you just said yourself earlier, it was a struggle fighting at West Side, fighting this group, fighting that group. You couldn't let the artist Zach show back then, because the artist Zach would have been seen like, oh, he ain't really gangster, he ain't really hard.
But you
Yeah.
know what? Elder? Let me see. That was a problem in our community because, like Verlene was saying, we got so many gifted people, and I always say the children of Gary, Indiana, were extraordinary, not ordinary, and that is a fact. You know what I mean? But the problem is stifling the gifts that we all had, and everybody had different gifts. I mean, you think about the cats who you probably walked home from school with, everybody had something different that they could do better than everybody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
I had a homie
That's true.
that you know what I mean, that loved Willie and his bike with no wheel on the front, The rest of them looked at it like, man, how you do that? But that was his thing, you know what I mean? I had another friend who could play baseball, should have went to the league, you know what I mean? So everybody, we all had gifts, and one of the bad things that hovered over our community, over our city, was that we weren't encouraging one another to show our gifts. But we done with that. We here to encourage these gifts. Zach, we here to encourage your gifts, you know what I mean? And we just gonna keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And like you said, Elder, we're gonna close up some of those wounds, some of them open wounds. We're gonna encourage one another because it ain't that many of us left. It ain't that many pure Gary, Indiana people left. And this is including the children who are here now because they don't understand the historical value of where they are. And then you get other people who's moving to Gary who don't give a doggone about it. It's just somewhere to live to them. You know what I mean?
True.
So what I'm saying is, Elder, you're right. But we can no longer look at it in the sense that somebody's gift is a burden to them. It's a gift. It's a gift for all of us. But go ahead, John.
Right, man, that was real. That was deep.
Yeah,
That was on point. What you just said.
and we were supposed to have
Mhm.
that historical museum, that Gary Historical Museum. Remember I think it was on 15th and Madison. It was an
Mm.
old building out there. I don't know if it used to be a post office.
Used to be the old library.
Oh,
Yeah,
the old library, you're right. Used to be,
yeah.
and that was Hatcher, Richard Hatcher was gonna do that, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it never came into fruition.
Hey,
And
you know what? I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off, but it's so funny that you brought that up
mhm,
because we are. I'm talking about I'm going back to 86, 80, 87, something like that.
Yeah.
We were doing a summer job thing and we cleaned that whole lot out because they was like, okay, we finna rebuild this. And I mean, we had that lot spotless.
Hmm.
Spotless. And I mean, we was proud to do it because we was like, okay, something new finna happen right here. We can look back the next summer, everything grew back up and it was looking the same all over again. I'm like, wow.
yeah,
And that actually it was a library, but at first it was a field house. Y'all remember that? The first state championship was played in that building.
On
Mm.
15th and Madison.
Yeah.
15th and Madison, right on the
15th of
corner,
Madison
right
was
That
got a
used to
corner
be
from
a field
Frable.
house. It was actually the first state basketball championship. The first one in Indiana was played there.
Willie, where that curve is, you go around
Where
that
the
yeah,
curve
you
at?
go
clear
around that
Yeah,
curve.
curve right there on
yeah.
like right
That
across
was
what
it
Frable's
was a
play.
library after it was the field house. It was the field house, then they turned it into a library. I know exactly what you're talking about, Zach. And it's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah, it's
It's
still
still
there.
there.
But I mean, a lot of people from Gary, this is one of those things we like to do. We like to educate y'all, give y'all a little history. And yeah, the first state basketball championship was played
Come
at
on the
that
other side
field.
of Norton. Come on the other side of
No, no,
Norton.
it's
No,
on
North.
No. You going too far.
Yeah, you too far.
15th and Madison.
15th and Madison, right down the
You
street
remember
from
right
that.
where
It's on the
Frable was
border.
at?
We would
Frable.
say it's on the border.
Right,
But
where Galilee
Yeah, there
Baptist
you
Church.
go,
You
the
know where
border.
Galilee Church is.
Yeah, it's on the border.
Go north.
Okay. I'm trying to picture it, but it's like my mind keep getting stuck at certain spots.
But that's because you ain't like going on that side of Grant Street. And we understand.
I went to Norton School. What you talking about? My auntie lived on Fillmore, right by Frable.
Here we
But it was
go.
right there
Yeah,
by
so it was right
Frable.
across the street from
It's
Frable.
right
It was
across the
right
It's
there
street.
around,
across the
it's
street
by
from
Holy
Frable.
Trinity by Frable.
That's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to visualize it.
It had a gate around it, Chill. It was a gate all the way around it. I don't know if the gate's still there to this day, but it used to be a green gate all the way
Well, you
around.
remember where where Auntie Vivi stayed in them apartments right there on 15th and Washington right there?
Yeah.
Okay, it's right there on the same side of the street, down toward Madison, going back west from there.
You gotta remember it. It's the
So,
old field
don't
that
you
was
ever,
the library.
don't you ever say I live on every part of Gary, Indiana.
I didn't say
For
I
real.
didn't say you did.
For real, he
I said
really
you
did.
didn't like
He really
going
did.
over
He really did. And I'm telling you, he
And
really
I always made my way back to the project.
there. Exactly.
did.
You ain't like staying over there that long. You
No,
went
I
to
didn't.
church.
I
You ain't like
didn't.
waiting on your order. Huh?
Yeah, Willie
But
come every
yeah, but check this out, Zach. Man, your people, right? I know you say everybody was, kind of going at you about your book and everything, man.
Right.
But growing up with your pops there, then you got, your stepfather there, man. How was the dynamic between you leaving him and going back to the crib and have to try to like have some kind of order? How was that dynamic? I mean, how was that? Was that
Hey,
chaotic
you
for
know
you?
what? It was crazy because a lot of people thought that my stepdad. Well, I mean, y'all know my AC. Y'all know my stepdad. Shit, y'all know who he
Mm-hmm.
was. So everybody was always, oh, AC. AC was a big dude, big burly dude. Shit, what
Mm-hmm.
6'6", big guy. You know, and everybody knew AC didn't play around. AC was something else too. But the thing about AC was that he was about discipline. I couldn't come in the house with a 40 ounce in my hand. I couldn't come in the house with some weed and nothing like that. Oh no, man, he didn't play that. He didn't play that
Mm-hmm.
with me. So it was crazy because AC was more a disciplinary person, which people will probably figure like, damn, that's hard to believe. But AC was more my disciplinary father than my actual biological father. My
Okay.
biological father, I could get no, I could grab a fifth of rose. Matter of fact, he'd have a fifth of rose and look at me and be like, hit the wine. You know, I'm 12, 13 years old. He look at me. I said, hit the wine. Go, what you scared for? Hit it. My first,
Mm-hmm.
no, my first joint, first time I smoked weed was with my dad. First drink with my dad. You
Wow.
know, oh, but I mean, AC didn't play that. AC didn't play that, dog. So my mother would always tell me, like, I would come back, dog. When like, if I'm over there with my dad for the weekend or however long I'm with him, when I came back, I got my ass whooped because she's like, "Oh, I got to deprogram your ass."
All right.
So, yeah, I had to get deprogrammed. It was like, "Oh, you ain't over there no more. I'll beat your ass." Yeah. You know, I would walk in the door like, "Oh, dog." Because over there it was just like it was like gladiator school, dog. You had to fight, fuss. It was just gladiator school, dog. So when I came home, my whole mentality was different. It was like, and my mother say something, I get loud. Look at me doing that. Yep, and time for reality. Reality just set back in. No the fuck you think you talking to? You get your fucking ass up there and do what I said. So
Come back home now, huh?
yeah, I'm back home now. So it's
Back to reality.
yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yeah,
I got
yeah,
you.
yeah. That reality got kicked in. But like I said, everybody thought that like AC probably like, oh shit, AC probably let him do what he want to do. Nah, it was AC was a disciplinary, and despite anything he was going through, nah, he ain't play that shit with me.
And you know what, fam? Matthew mentioned it. A lot of the older cats in Ivanhoe didn't really let us participate too much.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying? We people didn't really participate. They didn't let the young niggas participate too much in a lot of stuff until, of course, when the game happened. Then the younger dudes started getting involved. Even then, they kept a lot of younger dudes out for a long, long time.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But it was a lot of tough love going on around there. You know
yeah,
what I'm
but
saying?
shit,
It's like, nah, this our lane. We got this. Y'all go sit y'all little butt down.
yeah, hey, get back over there.
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, like I said though, but when I got around my father, shit. I mean, sorry about that. I mean, man, dude, like I said, I get in the car and get greeted with a 40 ounce. Hey, you want a bet? Yeah, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm drinking beers and smoking joints, and I'm talking slick just like him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was so crazy because it wasn't like nobody like. You got that little boy in here drinking. And I'm like, shit, what's drinking?
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, man. But then, like I said, if your father giving this to you, which I do believe played another part in me with my attitude at home, because I'm like, why you trying to discipline me and my father don't?
Mm-hmm.
So, in hindsight, looking back at it, thank God he did. Thank God that he didn't give up on me.
Yeah.
He could have easily been like, look here, Renee, that's your child, you deal with him. But he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I always praise that man for that. Even when he had his shortcomings, it's still like, hey, dude, he still looked out for me in whichever way he could.
Yeah.
I tell y'all what, I'm gonna piggyback on that, Zach. I've always felt like people not giving up on you teaches you how not to give up on yourself if you're
True.
paying attention to the lesson.
True. That is true.
But go ahead, y'all.
I mean, he
Zach,
killed me with that. He dropped that knowledge on us, then be like, all right, now go ahead.
yeah, they step off, yeah. So Zach, so check this out, man. What made you finally say, I'm gonna go ahead and write this book about me and my old man history? What made you decide to finally say I'm gonna go ahead and do this?
Tired of the sorry about that, y'all. Just tired of the like I said once again, just tired of this shit playing in my head, man, and just and like I said, I had to get over that fear, man. Like this was a story that needed to be told, and I actually got hit up in my inbox. I'm not gonna say his name, but the guy hit me up and he said, "Man, I read your book, and up until now, I hated my father." He was like, "I grew up like you, and I hated my father for making me grow up like that." He said, "But I never said nothing." He said, "So I really need to sit down and have this conversation with my father." Because I never got a chance to have this like what I'm saying, how I'm feeling, and all that. I never got a chance to have that conversation with him. He died before I could have this conversation. So it was just like, and like I said, you get the book, you will see, it'll really tell you like, this dude, like, man, I was a hurt child. I was a hurt child behind him dying. I really was. Because it was just like, dude, man, look here, I'm gonna tell you. In my eyes, my father was like, at one point, he was larger than life to me as an adolescent because I didn't know no better. But then the older I got, the more I realized, man, this motherfucker ain't larger than life. This motherfucker's a monster. And it was like, when they say never beat your hero?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt. Like once I got my bearings and actually learn, actually put the knowledge of what's right and what's wrong together, this was the worst dude I ever met in my life. But he was still my father, so I still loved him.
Yeah. My mama always told me Hitler mama loved him. So where they go, you love, you love.
I'm gonna say this. Zach, when we was running around, when we was young running around, I didn't know who my real daddy was. Okay.
Man.
I met my real daddy when I was 26.
Wow, for real?
Way when I got away from y'all. So when I met him, I had to look for things. You know what I'm saying? When I looked at him, I didn't see none of me. But then when I looked at his family, I said, "Oh, that's where I am." Another thing about our DNA, it's a broader pool than our parental DNA.
Yeah.
We got family DNA that might be in some cases more important than our parental DNA because it gives us an insight to who we are from different perspectives.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know what? And I used to hang around with the guys I hung around with. And I really didn't think about it when I was younger. But it was, 4 or 5, sometimes 6 of us that hung around each other. Now, take in mind, we hung around each other every day. Man, I mean, we woke up, soon as we woke up, we went outside. Shit, I'm going to their house. They going to my house. You know what I'm saying? They mama love me. My mama love them. And out of all 5 or 6 of us, dog, could none of us point out the other one's father?
Mm.
Man, what kind of mess was that? I mean, you got 4 or 5 kids that hang together every day. Every day. Monday through Monday. And I couldn't point out
the dudes
I
who
couldn't
you
point out
knew
none of
their
their father.
father, and it seemed like the dudes who had their father was worse than everybody.
Yeah, so in some cases. But none of us had them. And it was just crazy because it's like, no, we was walking, we was at Value Mart, matter of fact, Chill. We at Value Mart, right? We walking out of Value Mart, and one of my partners said, "Hey man, that dude calling your name." I said, "What dude?" He said, "Right there." I look at him, I walk over there. Man, I don't even think we had a 30-second conversation. I walk back up there with them. We going down, what's that, Jennings? We going down Jennings Street. They say, "Man, who was that?" I was like, "My daddy." Everybody stopped. Look back at him. I got that. I mean, yeah, y'all look just alike. Yeah, whatever. Now, he moved up. My dad moved in Ivanhoe. He moved in Ivanhoe, dog. And he had been there for a whole month before I even knew I'm walking home from school. I'm walking home from school, I'm coming down 10th, and he's happened to be sitting on the porch. I'm like, "Hey, what you doing out here?" "Oh, we live here." "You live here?" "So how long you been here?" Matter of fact, he stayed right in front of Sean there, man. And
The girl Sean.
yeah, the girl Sean.
Okay, on the other side of Sam Hill and them.
Yeah, he stayed right there. I said, "How long you been here?" He said, and I remember seeing Sean. Sean said, "They've been living there about a month." I'm sorry, y'all. I mean, I know the show we ain't for no cussing on here, but I just gotta say it.
Do your thing, Jack.
I was like, motherfucker, you been here a month and you ain't even came around the corner and said, "Son, hey, I live out here."
What year was that, Zach? What year was that? About what year was that?
80, had to be 87 or 88.
Because I ain't gonna lie, you look just like your daddy. But
No.
I know your daddy. I know him. You know, when I saw that picture, I'm like, you know, like you said, nobody could really point nobody's father out. None of my friends couldn't point my old man out neither. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't point their daddies out. My 2 best friends, I still don't know who Big Mike daddy is, and I didn't know Bobby daddy until we was grown. You feel me?
Right.
I knew stepdaddies and dudes their mamas talked to, just like they knew
Exactly.
my stepdads and niggas my mama talked to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But and that's a shame within the Black community because
Yeah.
there are no men. And if it wasn't for AC to step up in your case to try to show you some discipline, you know, I had my grandfather there, of course, and my uncles, but my uncles, you know, that was my uncles. They was living the same lifestyle. So they didn't let me drink or
Now I
nothing,
gotta say this, Elder.
but I did everything else.
I want to say something.
Go ahead.
About that generation. Not you, Onion.
All right
but
now.
the rest of them niggas. They kept a lot of secrets.
Yeah. I agree.
They were that generation. Not
I
you,
totally
Onion,
agree.
Not me.
but the rest of them niggas was notorious for keeping secrets.
Oh, wow.
And I want to know, you know, how you keep a secret for 30, 40 years?
Some
Dude,
of them were shame. No, it was a shame that came along with it.
Mm-mm.
So I was
dude,
talking to one of my guys yesterday, or day before yesterday, and he was telling me about a secret that was kept from him by his mother and his grandmother. And I just want to know, in my mind, because I've talked to countless people, Elder, me and you done talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
We never understood what was the disattraction to just telling the truth about it. Because we, Zach, me, you, and Elder, and Verlene, and you too, Onion, we come from a generation where we gonna tell it. You know what I mean? If it's something
Like it is.
we from the shameless generation. You know what I'm
right.
saying? We couldn't be shamed into us not saying something, you know what I mean? And if somebody felt like, don't be ashamed of that. And so because of our shamelessness is what's led to what's going on now. People telling you every name that's tattooed on their inner thighs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? In that case, it went further. But it comes from a place where too many things were concealed.
Yeah.
Too many truths were concealed.
Oh, no.
At some point in time, you can't just throw out in the atmosphere the things you feel like are appropriate. It's like you said, Zach, hey, I needed to know everything.
Right. Hey,
I
this
need to
book,
know everything.
this book brought out so many secrets, but then they were brought out in malice type forms. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, well, what about this? What about
Did you
that? It's
know
like,
that?
whoa, what the hell? Like it wasn't like, well, you know, we can talk about this. It was malicious intents that these secrets was brought out. And I'm like, damn, you know, like, oh man, like this what this book brought out for this family.
Mm.
Now this
Yeah,
family at war.
and it's crazy because, like I said, it ain't just your family. It's every family under the sun. People didn't want you to know something. Something was too inappropriate, even though it was an action that they or a deed that they committed. It's still nobody should know about it. But my thing is, nobody believed in the was done in the dark always gets light shed on it sooner or later. You know what I mean? And so,
Right,
you
right.
know,
You know
that's
what?
what
You
you're
know what,
doing right
Sobo?
now, huh?
My old girl, my mom, God rest her soul.
Yes, that's all.
She told me, yeah, she told us everything. She ain't hold nothing back. She let us see it. She let us see the worst and she let us see the best. It wasn't no, and she was like, and my grandma used to get so mad, like, don't be telling them kids that, don't be showing them kids that. And she was like, Mama, I don't want my kids riding around, walking around no blinder zone. They need to know exactly what's going on because they never know what they might run into. And but she sheltered my nieces and nephews, but me, Wanda, Venetia, she gave it to us raw. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, some of the rawness I had a problem with as a child. You know, to this day, I'm still a
Mm-hmm.
grown man, still be like, you
True.
know, why you do that? Why was this? Why was that? You know what I'm saying? How come you just couldn't come out with this? You know what I'm saying? And she be like, well, because you need to know. And but now as a child of that not being a secret, you got to deal with what everybody else wanted to be a secret. And
Yeah.
they think it's still a
Yeah.
secret, but you know
Definitely.
it's not a secret. But but it's like, okay, like Zach said in his book, a lot of things he didn't say because he didn't want to hurt nobody's feelings. So it'd be a lot of things that go on in my mind and my heart that my mama exposed me to that's like, I could really say this, but I'm not gonna say it because if I say it's gonna hurt somebody's feelings. So I'm just gonna hold my tongue. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Right.
Even
Because
though,
we're not malicious people.
mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like people like, man, it's so many malicious people in this world. It's like, okay, I want to see you. I don't want to see you succeed. It's like I want to see you. You cool when if it's just a plan, But when you execute that plan, it's like, oh, he think he that now? He think he this?
Mm-hmm.
Man, like
No. And I'm gonna say this. Zach, you know what I call it? I call that putting the game down in your face. I've been doing it for years, and I actually enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always, like y'all said in the top of the show, it's always gonna be naysayers, and if it ain't no naysayers, then you ain't doing something right. So please say nay so I can say yay. You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, cause
Hey, Brianna.
we could go back to the old way of doing this, because you know back in the day it's like, what Jay-Z said it best. I don't care if I sold 1 or 1 million, but I think you should, because if I only sold 1, then out comes the hood. Now, what you want me to do? You want me to be over here on this side or that side? Because if I'm on that side, I'm close enough to touch it. But if I'm on this side, I'm close. I can bring you with me. But a lot of people don't look at it like that.
Yeah. The people is you know, it's unfortunately instead of crab in the barrel mentality, and people think they don't have it, but it's still there. You know what I'm
And not
saying?
only that, it's being taught, Elder. And see, like Zach was saying, his father was teaching him things, not knowing if it was wrong or right. It was just he was. And of course, he's going to want to pass who he is to his son. Now, that's not necessarily in his heart saying this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? All he's doing is the natural inclination of a father to pass what he is to his child.
Oh, man. There you go. There you go. And I'm going to tell you, and can I piggyback on that, dog?
Go ahead.
And, you know, for a long time, I was like, this, you know, why you was acting, or, you know, why you teach me this? Why you teach me that? Shit. And it hit me. You only taught me what you knew. You didn't teach me nothing you didn't know. So,
yep.
I mean, so at the end of the day, I forgive them.
And that's what a lot of people say too. A lot of times they say, "Well, I was young, and I was still a child myself, trying to be a man and try to teach you how to do something." But like you said, I'm going to teach what I know. You know, and like my mom, from what she told me, she got kicked out of the house at 14 years old. You know, but my grandma was like, "That's because you was bad, Lil. You just was bad," even though she lived right down the street with my godmother. But it was like she was like, I had to learn how to, from a 14-year-old, I had to, you know, be on my own and still live by my father's rules, even though I wasn't staying with him no more. You know what I'm saying? They kicked me out the house and everything, you know. But I was still there. My presence was still felt, but she got kicked out the crib. So when she started teaching us, she was teaching us from a survival mode. And she wasn't teaching us from, oh, I gotta cuddle you. Like, no, these streets, it's rough out here. And y'all need to know how rough it can get. Because if I, you know, and the other kids, you know, I'm just gonna keep it real. The boys my age group, I was so more advanced than them because I had saw so much and experienced so much as a child that by the time they got to be the same age, we was doing the things. I already done that stuff as a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old. You know what I'm saying? So, and just like you, Zach, the stuff that you was seeing with your pops and going through it, by the time you got to West Side and high school with your peers, look at, like I said, you was already as an 18-year-old finna be a maintenance man, finna have a career. Where everybody else was still trying to figure out where I'm gonna get my next drink from, or my next joint from. You see what I'm
At that point, I'm like, I'm tired of drinking. I've been drinking since
exactly.
I was 13.
You've been through that already.
And I'm gonna tell you, never mind, I ain't gonna go there.
No, go down.
Hey, man, it's all
so
love,
he
baby.
Hey, listen to this though, Chill. Zach used to run around with an older woman. That's how I looked at it.
That was my people, though. That was my people.
I didn't know that was your people at the time. I thought, man, what is she doing to him? I didn't know, Zach. I was just, and it was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? So, you know.
But that was my mentality because I couldn't, like Chill just said, I couldn't hang around people my age. People
Yeah,
my age, but I was too,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Then
I was
Yeah.
drinking like a grown ass man.
You was running with grown folk
Right. I
as
said,
a
no, you
young
was
dude.
there. I was
And
over there
and
with
now that I
y'all.
look back, I was like, yeah, you was exceptionally advanced because you younger than me.
And it was
and
like,
then man,
I'm over there.
that's how it was with me.
And
I
now,
was
now
running
and
with
he knew
I was
all of
running
the
with
game already, Elder. You understand what I'm saying? He knew
I
the
get of
whole
course.
game. Yeah. And it
But you
was
gotta
like,
realize
oh,
something.
okay, cool.
I was being raised by my mama friends, who was most of them was in the family and was in the mix and all that kind of stuff. Then I was being raised by the older dudes in Ivanhoe, your stepfather for one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Butch and Roy, not Roy Lee was still young. But Butch and my Uncle Elvin, all them, my Uncle Joe, them, I was being raised by them dudes. I had to go, my grandmother made my uncle them watch me. They 10, 12, 13 years older than me. So this is why I had to babysit me. But guess what they took me to? They would take me to the border. They would take me to these different places, all around Gary, Chicago. I'm everywhere
Exactly.
as a kid. And then I got messed around, got with JT and Big George, the street people. So about I'm on Tolly, I'm on Kent where your father lived at. That was the camp house. We either, I used to do the money thing. I used for blackjack and the craps. I was one of the table men. In the seventh and eighth grade, I was doing this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like by the time my friends, Big Mike, and them started coming of age, it was like, dude, I've been
Right.
doing
Like,
this.
yeah, right. I've been doing it. I
It's
say,
over now. You know,
hey, man, dog. Like I said, we ain't got to say no names, but I'm over there with them, dog. I'm drinking, like motherfuckers looking at me like, and you know what is funny? Because I always thought y'all thought that. I always thought y'all thought that.
We
Like,
didn't think that.
this little motherfucker why is he with her all the time?
And you know what? We go. This our off conversation when we talk about this, Zach.
Right.
Yeah,
I
hey,
say,
but
man, it's all
he
good.
was as a young dude, he was terribly advanced, and you could tell that he wasn't stargazing. You know what I'm saying? He seen everything before. It was like, you know what I'm saying? He had seen the movie before. You know what I'm saying? So,
Because it
and
was
that's as
like,
a young
This
guy. You know
sound
what
like
I'm
a
saying?
conversation that y'all three should have.
Right.
Oh, we
I'm
gonna
with
have it.
you.
We
Me
gonna
and
have it. But what he's saying is that that's what he's
I'm with
talking
you,
about.
Onion.
I done heard enough.
what went
No,
into his
because
book,
Enough.
though.
we trying to elaborate on the book.
That's what went into his
His
book.
story is my
Book.
history. Again, his story is my history.
Well,
Zach's
we'll see it when we read the book.
Amazon right
That's
now
right.
today.
Y'all done told me the whole book. I ain't gonna bad now.
no, no,
You gonna get
no,
your
no,
bad,
don't
Auntie.
do me like
What?
that, honey. Don't
Bad.
do me like that.
What?
No, it was
I'm
just,
It's
just
They
on
need
Amazon.
the
no,
book
my
is on
thing is just, it was
Amazon.
just, I just
okay. I
got
know.
I feel like I got too advanced too fast. That's all.
All right. Yep. Willie sure did. I know what you're talking about. Willie went through that. I know he went through that.
And man, and see, now, Onion, I got to say this. Whenever I came home to Ivanhoe, I'm looking up to him.
Right. Okay.
He was one of the big boys I looked up to.
Who Willie
So
was?
now I'm already got my daddy. So now when I come home, I'm looking at Chill like, now
Wow.
I'm trying to mimic him. I'm trying to mimic the way Chill talk, the
Oh
way
my.
he walk, his whole mannerisms.
Wow.
I did that too, man.
Because I'm like, okay,
I
this
ironed my
dude,
pants.
this dude about $1.05 and he talking crap to everybody. And I'm like, he just go hard in the
We'll
paint. He
Onion,
on the court
we'll
going
Yeah,
so
he still.
hard. And ain't
he
nobody
had
saying
boots
nothing
with
to
his
him. Ain't
pants,
nobody saying sit your little
and ain't
ass
nobody
down.
about to say nothing.
Right.
And he
So
got
I'm like,
preached
who is?
and
I'm like,
preached.
damn, Chill got that respect. So now I'm like, okay, I'm trying to mimic how he do it.
He come home from school, he still got the crease in his shirt where he ironed it this morning in his shirt sleeve. And ain't nobody said
what-
that. Look at him laugh.
Brianna said she don't believe that. Hey,
Brianna.
but you know that.
Brianna,
But,
I'm not
but
lying.
I'm telling you, I know your old man, Zach, and y'all got right here, especially
Oh
when you were smaller.
yeah,
When you were smaller, right
yeah,
here, I see it every time I look at you. I see it in him. Especially when you used to get mad when you was younger. You used to get mad. I can see all
yeah.
that in your pops right
I
there,
just
in you
gained
man.
weight, dog. If I lost maybe 100, maybe 60 pounds, 70 pounds, it'll be him all over. It's just my face
It's
just
it's
fat now.
it's right there. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
all
right.
this. I
It's
mean,
right
no,
there.
like I say, you can just look at it. It's
Yeah.
like, dude.
Mm-hmm. That art, that's good. I love that art cover too, man.
Oh man, thank you. I did it myself too.
Yes, you got your own publishing company,
Yeah, man, Cass Chronicles.
Cash Chronicles. You know what I
Yeah.
like, bro? You did some one time. You did a little video, and you was writing a story down, and you could hear the pencil.
Oh yeah,
And you,
yeah. That
I
was
thought
for
that was so
Unbreakable.
innovative, man. I thought
That was for
that
yeah,
was
that was
tight.
for
I ain't gonna lie,
Unbreakable.
bro. You need
Ah
to
man,
repost
thank
that.
you.
You need to repost that, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Cause
Okay,
that,
okay, I am. Just I
I
wasn't
mean, real
posting
talk.
just for you.
Cause what you just wrote your book, that'll bring people back into you sitting down writing. Even though it's a different story, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? But it's still giving that, and it's almost like I know Jimmy Fallon be doing that on his talk show at nighttime sometimes when he just sit down and be like, and just then he start writing and stuff, and we hear it. And
Right.
so when I saw you doing that, I was like, man, that is tight. That's so, and you have the ability to use your graphics and all that kind of stuff, man, to your advantage. I'm not good at graphics. I got to ask my nephew questions and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But when I see you doing your thing, man, I be like, man, how you do that? You know?
Man, I'm just man, like I said, dude. I get like I said, I get all that from him, man. I do.
Yeah.
That's why I say like I said, he was a poet, he was a writer. He actually could draw. I mean, sing. Like I said, man, he was a jack of all trades. I just
He was an
wish,
artist. He was an
yeah,
artist.
He was
I
good
just
in
wish he'd
the
have just focused
without
on his art
revealing too much of the
on
book.
that than what he focused on.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a
What you say,
question?
Sobo?
Did you elaborate on that in the book, his creative abilities?
Somewhat.
Okay.
What I did is tell. I told why he gave it up,
Mm-hmm.
why he stopped, what made him just stop doing it, everything.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I didn't realize you was this talented until I started seeing your podcast and how it was ran and how you had the mechanisms in place where you was reaching out and had other countries listening to you and different things like that.
Oh man,
And that's when I was like I said at the time, me and you weren't talking, but I still
right,
was watching. You know what I'm saying? Not watching so I could hate, but watching because I was proud of what you was doing. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
man. And like I said, like I told you, man, I'm so glad that you was man enough to say, you know what, let me talk to this dude, because he don't know. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I've never been the type like, oh, okay, we finna carry this on for years at a time. But I'm the type that's, all right, well, I don't say nothing to you, you don't say nothing to me. Let's just leave it at that. We
Mm-hmm.
ain't gotta fight, we ain't gotta fuss, we ain't gotta do nothing. We just ain't gotta say nothing. But I was so glad that, like, for you to come to me, because you didn't have to. You didn't have to come to
Mm-hmm.
me, break everything down, explain this, and make it all make sense. But you did.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, dog, That's got to be a good dude, you know.
That's right, Niece.
And you know
And I
what?
was just like from there.
He told me
Yeah.
I had to be your friend. I ain't know we was already friends. I was like, who?
That's why I kept telling you, like, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
trying,
yeah,
I'm
I
trying to tell him
figured
that
it
too,
out.
Zach.
Oh, I figured it out, Zach.
I'm trying
I
to tell him
figured
too,
it.
Zach. When we was in Gary and we all happened to meet up at the same time on
Mm-hmm.
some humbug stuff, just hanging out. Me and you coming from nap,
And
then
that's what I told him
Sobo
that
coming
day.
there, and
You remember me.
I
yeah,
remember
and then
well now. I'm talking about I remember incidents on Waverly where we was just sitting there. I'm just,
Yeah.
you know what? I'ma just elder. Yeah.
but man, when I tell y'all, if y'all look at this man is so creative
Yes.
and the different things that he has come up with, it's just like I be him, Tank, Rapper Red, which is Andre Renee. You know, it is so many people from the hood. You know, all the different dudes who was rapping, doing their things. You know, Cop on them. I mean,
Right.
everybody. There's so many women. You know, what's her name? Two. She wrote a book, man. I mean, and when I was in school, anybody from Gary who had wrote a book or just made a post, I was using their quotes while I was in college because my whole thing was I'm gonna give Gary people their props while I was in
Exactly.
school on they literary work. And the professors be like, well, Willie, this didn't come from none of the books that we told you to read. I said, well, first of all, y'all say I gotta use 3 quotes. I didn't use 3 quotes in the first paragraph. I used 3 quotes in the first 2 paragraphs. I got 3 quotes from the books y'all told me to quote from. All these other quotes coming from people I know. And it fit the narrative of what we're talking about within this, wherever the paper was and stuff.
There you
You
go.
know, so my thing was, it's too many literary giants coming from our city for me not to show them love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So whenever you look back in history now, they books is where they being sold or whatever it is. But when you look on the college spectrum and you look up, you got the people paperwork is gonna always be there because it's in the internet now. It's on the you're gonna always be able to go to reference points and it's gonna pull a reference up about this. Well, I remember when Willie Anderson wrote this story and it pulled this story out from this reference from this artist.
Right.
I mean, from this art author from Gary, Indiana that talked about this and used this quote. And that quote, that's like when you go to law library or something and they use precedents and they say such and such a case from such and such a time. It's the same thing. So just like your book now, Berlin Cousin book and everybody else's books, those books are in the Library of Congress now.
Right.
Those books are, are saved. A lot of our our first CDs, I kicked off to Library of Congress. It may not did good for everybody know on the streets, but the Congress know about it.
Right.
They sent me stuff based off that Avanhoe stuff. Which one was it? Wanted Dead or Alive. They wanted me to write a book. The New York publishing company sent me a thing like, hey, would you be interested in writing a book for us? And Blase Skippy. That's when I was on vacation, and my mama sent me the paper and said, somebody from New York Publishing House sent you this. They want you to write a story about whatever. But I felt like at the time, I hadn't lived enough to write nothing that was worthwhile.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, bro, keep doing your thing, man. Keep writing. Keep being inspired. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody stop your juices. You feel me?
All right, man.
You
I
got the
appreciate that,
creator.
man. Like I said, once again, I appreciate y'all having me on here, man. This has been a joy and a blessing to be on here.
Man, I'm proud of you, bro. I am so proud.
Yep.
And I'm proud of everybody on here.
That's right. I'm proud of all y'all. That's right. That's exactly right. Y'all all doing y'all thing.
We
Man,
this
too.
back when me and Elder was talking. I know you remember Malcolm Chief.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had Malcolm on the show, right?
Right. I tuned in.
Okay. So after that, I had to let him know that he was my guy. You know what I'm saying? He freaked out so bad. And what he said was, he was like, how did y'all end up doing this?
I already know what he's thinking. Okay, how did this come from here and that come from that?
Yeah. But it was see, when you evolve to something else.
Yeah.
But see, you know what? That was even us back then, dog. People didn't understand how me and you sitting on Waverly Drive, sitting there doing what we doing.
Yeah.
People didn't understand that. Like, wait a minute, what the hell? Why is them two over there drinking, laughing, joking, playing? You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, we evolved. It was like you got to know me, I got to know you. It was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. And that's how, you know, I was telling Elder when we told Malcolm why we started this was for this reason. So that a Zach Scott can write a book and come on here and we blow it up the best that we can. You know what I mean? And keep blowing it up and tell everybody we know to blow it up. We don't care that some dude from Brooklyn wrote a book or some dude from LA wrote a book. That's fine. You know what I mean? But Zach Scott is our numero uno book promotion. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Or somebody who's from
whoever from the house,
or not just Ivanhoe, or maybe a Concord.
Whoever from the house, dog. Whoever from the house.
And so when me and Elder did this was always our thing. Like, look, man, we're gonna blow us up first. We're gonna blow us up first.
Oh, trust me, I understand the concept. And like I said, when we was doing the podcast, that's why I was like, hey, like a lot of people got so mad. Oh my God, you put Stacey Brookshire on the show. But that was one of the biggest shows. We have motherfuckers in England and people in England and London talking about who is Stacey Brookshire.
The guy is charismatic. Okay. And once upon a time, he was my friend. But we ain't gonna go there. I'm talking about
I ain't gonna lie. I showed Sobo them the book that Stacey wrote. Remember Sobo? We was out of town.
Yeah.
We was in Georgia, and I said, here go the book that Stacey wrote.
I think I still have it.
Yeah, our mutual friend kept our book, and now it's in Georgia somewhere lost. But
hey,
but
you know.
Yeah, but
I know, yeah.
Yeah. But man, like you said, man, when you have people, sometimes I remember that show too. You had him on your show. I remember that. You know, I was watching, and but one thing, like Sobo said, he's very entertaining regardless of how you feel about him. He's very entertaining.
Right. And no, I had no like. I remember him walking. He say, "Damn, Zach, you mad at me too?" No, you ain't did nothing to me. I don't. One thing I don't do is I don't jump in other people's beefs. I'm like, and I start laughing, and he said, "What you laughing at?" I said, "Shit, I ain't in the book. I don't care what you say." And he just bust out laughing.
I'm kind of mad. I ain't in the book.
But then I'm like, nah, Stacey, let's call a spade a spade.
You know, nah, I'm sitting up like, man, I used to sit at your mama's house and eat her cornbread. You didn't put me in the book.
I'm like, dog, you know, you can't sit here and just act like you know, you just picture perfect. But that's another conversation.
No, I ain't saying that. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying it's like everybody, but like I said, I had people hit me from England. And I ain't gonna even lie to you. This being true. England, Australia. How can I get Stacey Brookshire's book? I'm like, wow, damn.
Because believe it or not, Stacey Brookshire's book is right up there with a book written by Monster Cody, by Rayful Edmond. It all falls in the same thing. You know,
it falls in the same job.
So believe it or not, we could say what we want to say about our brother, but he contributed to a specific part of pop culture. You know what I mean? By writing that book, and where others like I said, Monster Cody wrote a book. Who else? The Kingpin out in Philly. What was his name? You know, I can't remember his name, but you know, they all of these things are popular because that era is gone. So any documentation of that era is now popular and valuable.
I definitely got the new one because this is the new documentation of that era.
Okay.
Right here. So, like I said, get your copy. You know what I'm saying? You hit Amazon. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Naptown. If you see me, I keep copies of them on me. So, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, I want you to sign mine. I want you to sign mine.
Oh, for sure.
Well, Willie, if he sign yours, I can just give you the money. You can get one from me because if not, I don't want to pay shipping and handling from Amazon.
All right, Auntie, I got you.
They charge too much for shipping and handling.
Yeah, I
got you, Auntie.
All right, I'll send you the money.
Like I told you, Zach. I love your stuff, man. I love what you're doing, man. And you have put, you know, through your artwork, you have put Gary on the map. You have most definitely put Ivanhoe on the map. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And it is a plum pleasing pleasure to sit back and just read your stuff. And I ain't gonna lie, Unbreakable, it wasn't as long as I thought it was gonna be, but it was captivating. And I got to the last page, I was like, oh, he wrong for this.
But I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose.
Did you say plum? Let me remember what you said. Let me write that down. Plum.
I want my book signed.
Plum, pleasing.
I want to be in the next movie.
Plum.
I got you, dog. I got you.
But I want to be the piano player who don't get no word.
You gonna wear that mask? You gonna wear that mask?
I'm playing the piano.
He gonna wear that mask.
Yeah, he gonna have that mask on.
Nah. I'm gonna show my gorgeous mug because I ain't gonna have no.
All right.
Hey,
all right.
Hey, let me tell y'all. Hey, I'm telling y'all. When I saw the movie Sin City, I was kind of mad. I'm like, man, we back talking now. Come here, he got me in the movie.
No, it wasn't that. I was trying to get. You know, I kept promoting like, hey, come out. Hey, everybody come out. I'm gonna put you in the movie. I promise you. And
I went on social media then.
Yeah, because it was like, dude, I never even wrote a script for that. I ad-libbed the whole thing.
You did an excellent job, man.
It was just like, I just wanted to see could I do it. Like, you know, let me see could I just ad-lib a movie. And I mean, it came out pretty good, you know. I wish we could have got get all the way to the end, but due to circumstances beyond my control, we couldn't. But I still think it's a hood classic. I think it definitely represents the G.
I feel like you're gonna do way more movies, Zach. It's just something you do. Maybe if you do a period piece in the 1950s, you can put me in that and I can get finger waved.
Oh, no, I'm telling you, that's what Unbreakable is about. It started in 1942. That's the era. That's the era right there.
You're gonna be Big Red. Hey, you're gonna be Big Red. My office hours are from.
Well, we got a Big Red type character in there too. We got a Big Red. Actually, it is crazy because it's like I'm looking at you because you know I know who you are. So I'm looking at you and I'm thinking I know exactly who he can play.
I want to be a musician, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because my dream was always to be a musician, and that's just the truth about it. I love music. Always love music. Zach, you know, I used to push Bob around we had the boom box.
You know like I said, I remember.
And that was some of my favorite parts of the day because he would be the one teaching me certain music. You know what I mean? Just having him with that boombox stuff that I had never really listened to, he would make me listen to it. And so that was part of my education musically. So if I was in the movie, I want to be a musician. I either want to be like Jimi Hendrix with my shirt off playing the guitar.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, check this out, man. It's almost 10 o'clock, right? So we
All
got.
right.
I want you to tell everybody your social media handles and how they can get in contact with you and how they can purchase the book.
All right, now check this out, y'all. Cash Chronicle presents His Story is My History. Like I said, this is something that it's a tearjerker. It's gonna make you laugh. It's gonna make you cry. It's fulfilled. It's my life. I put my blood, sweat, and tears in these pages right here, y'all. So, you can hit Amazon. You can go to, like I said, once again, His Story is My Story. Zachary Scott. You know what I'm saying? I wrote it. I did everything. I got the paperback copy out. I got the hard copy. That's out also, and the audio is coming soon. Like I said, you go on Amazon, you can grab it there. Like I said, if you catch me in the streets, you can hit me up on my I'm in Indianapolis, but I do go to Gary often. So I usually when I go to Gary, I let you know. I usually hit on my Facebook or all my social media sites. I'll be in Gary, and if I'm in Gary, I got a trunk load of them with me. I'm selling them straight out the trunk like CDs back like a gangster rapper back in the day. I'm selling them straight out the trunk.
Yeah, back in
So,
the
hey, I'm hustling this. Like I say, I'm on all social medias. You can check me on Facebook, go Zach Scott. .39, Instagram, Kaz versus Zach, YouTube, Zach Scott 177. Hey, I'm right here, man. I'm here. Like I said, his story is my history. Like I said, you start reading it, you will not, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed.
My man, my man.
All right.
And I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. Before we dip off the Sobo, give me your shots out, man.
Got some special shouts out tonight. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Zach for gracing us with his presence once again. And please don't stop doing that.
I won't.
My man, LD Lyell, the greatest podcast partner in podcasting, and the greatest podcast panel. Berlin, Onion, we appreciate it.
All right.
Shout out. I gotta say what's up. I gotta say get well, Manny Hall. He had an accident. I gotta shout out my boy Rudy. From Third and Wilson. He lost his son. And these my guys from back out in the day. And like I said, and shout out, my man who rode the man who rode the horse. My boy Bray, what up? I was plumbing, keeping Sobo 11th Avenue Hobo busy. Shout out Don, y'all, my dude. This y'all, it's y'all guy. Shout out we with my crew, we get busy, we doing stuff, we putting our hands to work, like grown men, you know what I mean? Shout out Tank G219 Radio featuring AWOL, about to watch the other episode, I just ain't had time. They doing a lot of episodes because a whole bunch of stuff keep popping up right now, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Big Cheeks, my boy, you know what I'm saying? And shout out Mr. Johnson, Thurman Johnson birthday coming up. We throwing a little thing.
Okay. Well, tell him happy birthday, man.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely
happy birthday, man.
Go ahead, Elder.
I want to send a shout out to my co-host Sobo 11th Avenue Hobo, the one and only, my partner in crime. He been holding me down, even though we both get on each other's nerves, because we both feel like we the smartest dudes in the room. But at the same time, when we are the smart dudes in the room, somebody gotta be wrong. But I'd rather be wrong with this nigga when he right. And that's my man Sobo, 11th Avenue, Hobo, and I appreciate you, my brother. I want to send a shout out to our panel. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. Thank y'all for your input. Verlene, I appreciate you, and I thank you for connecting with your cousin and whatnot. And I can't wait to get to talk to him next week so we can discuss his book, Love Letters to a Virgo.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna go grab that as soon as we get off.
Yeah, Love Letters to a Virgo. And I'm gonna send a shout out to my man Capo Ken folks. And also, Concord affiliated, they got their fulfillment center. So if you got any t-shirts, anything like that you're trying to put out, any kind of shoes, anything like that, they got their fulfillment center. So go ahead and check them out. Also, my man Corey Williams, and with everything he got going on right now, he got the credit repair for $225. So hit him up. He's on Facebook under Corey Williams, and he's also on Facebook as Chino. What is it? Combo with Chino. So go ahead and check him out, y'all. I'm gonna send a shout out to my sisters, Leo's Loving Care. They still doing their thing down here with the Home Health Agency. Salute to y'all, my sister Wanda. Salute to my sister Venetia for Unified Vision Medical Staffing and Educational Services, #1 CNA program in the state of Indiana with a 95% success rate. So, shout out to my sister. Also, I'm gonna send a shout out to my niece, Kiana, for holding it down for Taylor Academy Daycare Ministry. And my niece Brianna and them, she's doing her thing with the Urban League. Keep doing your thing. And all my other nieces and nephews, I appreciate y'all. The struggle don't stop. Most definitely, I'm gonna send a prayer out to my wife, my in-laws. They lost their auntie Dorothy, their cousin Dorothy this past weekend. We had her funeral. So I'm gonna send a shout out, pray out for them, pray out for my pastor. He just lost his sister not too long ago.
Wow.
So, everybody going through it right now, and I want to congratulate all the federal workers who are getting their jobs back. Thank God for the unions. We're going to keep on fighting, y'all. American Federation of Teachers, thank y'all for standing the fight. All the TSA union people keep on fighting. All the federal workers keep on fighting. It ain't over with yet. They still trying to throw more salt in the game, but don't even worry about it. The Most High got us. And this right now, I believe all this stuff that's going on is just a way for us to get our stuff together. You feel me? So don't look at it like adversity, because like Pastor Brian said, we've been here before. This ain't nothing new to us. You feel me? We're going to survive like always. And I just want to send a shout, like I said, to all my people, all my loved ones. Continue watching the show. And everybody that came on to see my man Zach, I got to give y'all a shout out because it wouldn't be right if I didn't. I want to send a shout out to my man Tony, to Barbara. I want to send a shout out to Nora Bateman. She said, congratulations, Scott. Venetia said, what up, Scott? Congratulations. Capo said, what's up? And who else is on here?
What up, y'all? What's happening?
Man, we had a lot of them on here, man. I'm trying to get back to it. But yeah, everybody was saying, what's up, man? Yeah, she said, tailor-made treats. That's what she said. Tailor-made treats coming to a parking lot near you soon. And I'm gonna have Sunday. That's gonna be my jerk chicken and my U.S. Steels and all that good stuff.
Hey, whoa. Do I get any parts of this jerk chicken?
What'd you say?
Do I get any parts of jerk chicken said?
No, you don't.
Now you just said that magic word, U.S. Steel.
Right.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Hey,
you can't. Now that's copyright infringement right there.
I don't care. Okay, it's gonna be chill steels.
It's gonna be chill steels. We're gonna call them PAJ steels then.
Okay, I got you.
All right, go guess out, Willie, so I can go eat.
Okay, all right, but hold on. But most definitely, I want to send a shout out to my man Zach and his new book. His story is my history. So go ahead and check it out on Amazon Prime. Get y'all a copy. Check him out. If you see him in the streets, go ahead and get a copy. And what's your cousin's name, Verlene? You got you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Timothy Warren Taylor. He has Love Letters to a Virgo and Woman Inc.
Timothy Warren Taylor.
These two artists, y'all. Y'all go out there and check them out. And we're trying to focus on Gary artists this month. and probably for the next couple months, because there's so many Gary artists, but we're doing the authors. We want the authors to get their shine, and we want to let people know that we have some literary giants coming out of Gary, Indiana. You feel me? And we got some more we got to get with, but most definitely check my man Zach out and check out Mr. Taylor. And I'm your man, Elder Eli L, and we're about to pray it out real quick. Merciful Father, I want to thank you for another glorious day. Thank you for allowing our brother to come on and share his testimony, merciful Father, by everything that he went through to make him who the man he is today, Father. And I just thank you for his growth. And I just thank you for everything you put into him, merciful Father. And I just pray, merciful Father, that his father find peace wherever he's at, merciful Father. Pray that his soul is resting in your bosom, merciful Father. And I just thank you for him empowering my man with all his creativity that he got, merciful Father. And I continue to pray for our loved ones who have lost somebody. I pray for my wife and her family, merciful Father. I pray for my pastor and his family, merciful Father. And continue just to pray for us and watch us while we're going through this administration, merciful Father. We have been it before, and we're going to continue to fight, merciful Father, because we are one. And merciful Father, nothing they can do to us can break us and only make us stronger. Continue to put creativity in all of us and continue to watch out for all our members on our podcast and everybody watching around the world. In Yahshua's name I pray, amen.
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 I just want to say a shout out to my man Tone. He called me right for the podcast. You know, my man Tone, June from Avenue, the twins, cousins. I love you, bro. I love y'all.
All right, love
Zach,
y'all.
you know, ain't number love, man. Sobo,
Go, baby.
Berlin,
Go.
Onion.
Right.
I appreciate y'all.
Okay,
Like
well,
I said, Zach, I want my book signed, baby.
I talked
Yeah,
about
me too, dog. I'm coming to get mine. Don't
I
I
worry
want
about it.
both of mine signed.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
all right,
They
All
are
right,
already
love
ordered.
all right. Okay, bye bye,
Okay.
y'all. Bye bye.
All right, peace.
All right.
Hey, Willie,
Right.
I'm sorry. I I got your books. I need them signed. I ain't playing. But